Hello, listeners. Hi, my name is Madhavi, and I'm so happy to have you on Upptalk. You have come to the right place if you want to learn about IT and do really cool things with your hands. We are not just another IT company when I say Upptalk. Think of us as your learning partner dedicated to helping you reach your full potential. We have top notch hands on courses to help you build your business, whether you are new to technology or want to move up in your current job. Let's look around this as our first step towards learning.
So today we need to start with that. So before that, for our rules, we need to know about the reports. Today, this session is only about the reports. So to navigate to the reports directly, you can go to Management Department Plus and Management Department. There will be a dedicated area for reports. Or in some companies, you can find that in this plus sign also. They might have reports in this area itself. Or it should be in somewhere just like this in the tiles. Clear on the navigation. It should be either on the plus sign as a report or it should be under Management Department or Management Workspace somewhere under the tiles. Let me click on it. This will give you the list of all the available reports. Accruals, activities, attendance. So these are categories. If you are confused which report to find under what category. So for accruals, we are going to see all the reports under the accruals. So it will be easy. Then we can click on accruals and see what are the reports you are going to run. So apart from that, other than that, we have a number of reports. These are like categorizing it like this is time contrasted report. This is a scheduler related report. So if you are confused, like which report would be under which and you don't know how to open which, you can go for all. All will contain list of all the reports. Whatever the reports are available in the Kronos in this particular system, these are mostly our inbuilt reports. There are also possibility of creating custom reports through other tools, but like we have more than enough self-sufficient like inbuilt reports in Kronos. So now let me show you like once you get time, go ahead and go through each of the reports. Now I will take you through few important reports which you will be working across more frequently. The first one is employee transaction and total. So what this report does is whatever the data the employee has in his time card, this will pull it through as a report. If I go here, we have a number of employees here. So let me open few of them time. These guys, like at least few people, should have some punches since this is a test environment, mostly to be empty. Just looking to come back here. Once we run the report, I'll choose the date from. So what this report does is it will pull all the information from the database. So whatever the data is available in the time card, it will go in Excel format, PDF format. We will go with the Excel format. What we need to choose is what are the employees we are going to extract, and choosing all home. That means all the employees available in the system. We can also filter it using our conditions available. As I told you, we have employee summary or other. We have a number of genies here. We can choose it and we can just have few employees, like only Australian employees. We are like I told you how to create this also. We can create a number of hyperfines based on our condition. So that condition also you can choose here if you need to. If you need only that employees, all the hyperfines will come here. You can choose that Australian employees batch file. Now I'm going with all home. All home means all the employees available in the system and time period. I need to choose from 1st of October or even before that. I'll choose from September. So we have at least some data. Since it is a test environment, we will not be having in-built purchase. So let me run it from 1st of September to today's date, and the output format is Excel. That's it. Display empty total. Do you want the most of the tankers are empty? So do you want that to be comma centered? I just only want wherever there is a particular data or punch or pay code, only that should be in my report. No empty values. So everything there is already selected. The pay code. Pay code. It was already selected. Only if you want to remove something, you can remove it. Well, if it is not selected in some areas, you can just pull it up here. That's it. After choosing these value, you just need to click on Run Report. And once you give it, you need to click on Refresh Status to refresh it. It's updated. And we can export those reports. Taking some time because we are running for all the employees. Deep rent. Let's see. So 2 more minutes. If it is not complete, then you can again run it once more. Let it run. In the meantime, we can see other reports. We can pick up other reports. So once this is running again, click on the Select Reports so that it will show us the available report. This is just a dashboard where we can see the status of the report, whichever we have run, whether it's completed or running or failing. Now again, I'll go back to the Select Reports tab, which is our home page. So we have seen employee transaction at total. The next report which you need to see is there will be a punch detail report. This will be, I can directly close this and take you through time code. So if some employees have some exception that I am caught up, manager needs to see that means he can use Genie. Or if he has more employees and he needs to see who are all the people who are having late-ins or early outs, punjas or like long breaks, short break these items. You want to see it in an Excel document or a PDF document. You can directly run this particular report, or he can go to exception summary. This will give him same thing but in an Excel format. These are same reports. If you go to exception summary, you will have an additional format which is Excel. But now we will run it as a PDF because I don't think we have Excel in this system. Maybe because we don't have Excel. It might be the reason. Let me see. So I'll run this as a PDF itself so that at least we get an idea. So let me run it as a PDF itself now. So this report is like if a manager wants to see who are his employees having these like late-ins, early out, Mr. Panjas, and like for a full population, his full population. Now I'm running it for all the people for his full population means he can choose his population, for what population he needs to run and whether it is only unexcused or you can choose both. And again the date range is same. I'll run it for 1.5 months. This is completed. Our previous report is completed. Now exception summary is running. So once this is completed, what you can do is you can click on this. You can click on the report and click on view report, or you can just double click on it. It will download. But now I don't think it will open. So I'll again run it as a PDF for you. It will not open. We don't have anything to open it up. So let's first go through this report. I'll again trigger the employee transaction summary in PDF format. The report name is similar transaction or total same thing, same everything. This time I'll go with PDF, but this report is specified to run as Excel only because PDF will not get clear parity. Excel mean it will have proper rows and columns attached to it. This inbuilt reports, we no need anything. These are inbuilt already now. So there is a separate tool to build custom report in that you need SQL. There's a tool called SRS tool. Like integration, we have SRS tool to build custom reports to speak with the system and pull the data. So it will directly each of these details, whatever we put in the bunch, what punches we put, what time cut we put, what accrual balances we have, everything as we see in the Kronos. It is also stored in database. Even these reports have direct queries which it will fetch directly. These are inbuilt reports, system reply. This will have the SQL queries to pull it out. So if you want something customized, we need to build it through that particular tool. There's a tool called SSRs. In that tool, you need to connect the system and build your reports using SQL queries, which columns to come where and how it should be formatted. That will be through SQL query. And also in the integration, whenever you build an integration to load and apply into the application, or to do some export, or to build some data from a particular place in Kronos and load it in somewhere else. For all that, you might choose a source type as QL, or like someplace it will be a FAT file or CSV. But there we can also use the SQL as a source query from where you fetch the data, or you can use the output as the SQL to load it into some database in integrations. Example, I might have a punch in both, like where I'll be importing the punches, which is the employee. Like some companies, like they might have 90% of employees in the Kronos. Like full employees will be in the Kronos, but 90% will be using Kronos clocks. But maybe for 10% of people in a particular location, one facility is using some other device to capture swipe in and swipe out. From there, I need to do an import to load the punches into the system. In that case, I can have a punch import which will fetch the punches from that system and load it into this system as well as the DB in those places. While when you are building integrations and custom reports, in that case, you will be needing SQL. Within system like SQL is not needed, but to work on integrations and reports, SQL is much needed. Abid, do you need to know like installation process? Do we need to know like an installation process? For, let's say, if you get like a project while we're working. No, nothing to install. Everything is cloud here. But like I'm saying to set it up like configuration from the beginning. No, that thing will be out. They will give you the details of server address, password, username, password, everything. You just need to type in that. Nothing to set up for Kronos. So our exception summary is completed. Let me open the PDF. So this will give you the ID whoever is in this particular report, and out of these implies like how many are having an excuse to absence within this date range. How many people have core violation? How many people have missed punches, missed out, unscheduled, late outs, early out, long break? So these things you'll get. Excel would be more appropriate for this, which, like we, can get these in rows and columns, and this will come as a chart. So since we don't have Excel, I'm just giving you the overview how it will be in the PDF. First, it will give you how many people have picked up with the exception for this date range. And then it will give you the graphs of what are the exceptions. Then again, it will give you based on some like poor violation. Whoever has violated the poor violation means we saw in the paper who the people should not be taking breaks during that time. Then it will give you this as a table, what we saw in the chart again as a table. And then it will give you each person has how many exceptions onto that like time for that particular date range. You see, Amanda has 20, Shamini has 1. This test user has 78. So this is just a report like this. We have a number of reports just like when you get a tie. Just go through and run one by one and see like what are the data it's pulling out. Choose all the employees and choose some date range for at least 2 months and then try to run it in the PDF. If you get a chance to get the excise installed, then you might choose for certain reports Excel and turn it off. So now let me show you the other report also, which is completed. Exception, sum, like transaction and total. I just double click on it. So transaction and total. Sorry, I was choosing the wrong report. This is the first one which we ran with this Excel. It will not open. I will open the PDF. Excel is actually the option for this, but since we don't have it, we are running it as an PDF. So first this will give you again who are the employees picked up in this particular report. Then it will give you on this particular date range this employee has. Each employee, they have how many hours. So within this time frame for this 1 month, this guy has worked 8 hours. This guy has worked 8 hours on this particular date under this pay code. This is more like a proper time, how the time code will be. We are getting it as an. If you see here, this guy has worked. He has employed this on Thursday 9/1. He has worked under this pay code for 8 hours. 10, this pay code. 11, this pay code. Again, James Smith, which we tested, we have given a vacation 8 hours here and some bonus hours on 9 to 6, so on. So this will give you the individual transaction per day for that particular time frame for each of the employee whom we have selected. Under which pay code, how many hours, which date. Then we will get the totals also. For each pay code, how many hours totally the employee has worked. Regular OT 1.5 hour. So if you see James Smith, this is the guy we tested for some time. He has worked 57 hours of regular, 3.3 hours of OT 1.5 and another T 1.5 an hour, then OT 2.0. So we will get the full time card data. Mostly, this is similar to the pay file, which we will be sending to the payroll team. So during the payrolls, if someone asks us to cross-check the data for few employees, how many hours of regular and voting on these set of people have, can it check and compare with the pay file generator? We need to run this report from the pronouns for that selected employees for that particular selected date range, and then we can cross the terms with the paycheck so that proper hours, like example of James Smith, means for this time range, he should be getting 57 hours of regular processed in his pay file and another 8 hours of vacation and 8 hours of OT 2.0. These hours should be in his pay file. So if someone asks, like few employees are getting errored out during the payroll, so can we cross-check whether that particular data is available in the pay file correctly? So during payroll, we can cross-check using this report. This is more or less like a component report with respect to the cost transaction and totals when it comes to payroll. And I will show you a couple more reports specifically which is needed for accruals. Before we start accruals, you know it's leave balances whichever we have. So to track that, we can see how many balance exactly we have at a particular time in Kronos itself, but to see the historical data when we got our vacations or sick accruals credited, when we have used it in future, how many leaves we have already applied. These details will be all available under the accrual category. There is a report called accrual detail. Even other reports are all about accruals only, but this is a detail which will give you the proper insight, how much leaves we have, how much we have taken everything. So usually when you run the accrual report, you need to run it from 1 month so that because mostly people will be getting their grants, their accrual grants or vacation grants on Jan 1st. If you see, mostly in our companies also, it will be like we will be getting vacation front loaded on the 1st of Jan or maybe 1st of each month. So it's better to run a report from 1st of this 1.222 to 123 degree. I will show you what are the details available in that. This has no other option. We just need to select the people whom we are going to run and the range of rates That's it. And I am going to run this again for all the people, or maybe I can choose few. Let me choose here. Let me see, I am still in employees. They don't have a problem. Let me run it for one guy. I'll just run it from one guy or else it will be confusing for you. James Met. This is the guy we tested for pay policies. I'll just choose this guy. So if you want to run it for a specific employee, you can directly go here and select it. But the easier way is just select the employee, click on Go to select the employee, click on Go to and Reports. Now what happens automatically in the people, it will show us previously selected employees. So the employees, whoever we have selected, one day will be chosen for this report. So it's an easier way. We can choose one or two or one or three, and then we can click on Go to and Reports. Now we have selected only James Met, and for him I'm going to choose the range of data as 11122 to 12. I'll do it 1 on 2023. And the format is out of. That's it, only this employee and range of dates is already defined. So this report is for PDF only. So if you see here, this employee has sick as far as approval. So this employee is eligible for sick vacation. Only two things. He is eligible for only sick and vacation. And you can see yearly he is getting 80 hours of sick leave, and like vacation is like monthly he's getting 24 hours. 24 hours means like almost 3 days. So it depends. Some companies might give them like 5 different leaves like vacation, sick, floating holiday. And along with that, there will be maybe like some of the monthly, there will be maternity leave for human employees. There will be COVID leave. So I'm just sticking with the simple prospect of how it will be. We have 2 items sick vacation like this. We can have a number of items attached to that as per the company's requirement. And we can also have it to grant at different basis. So you can see here, sick is granted on yearly basis as 80 hours. And you can see vacation is granted on monthly basis as 3 days like, which is 24 hours. So if this employee took some so from his earned, there will be one more row with the date stamp which days he had taken. Instead of yarned, it will come as taken and 8 hours will be minus. So if you say the employee has taken some leave on 15th of January, there would be one more row stating that 15th Jan of 15 on 2022. And that will be taken minus 8, and this 24 will then reduce to 16. That means I will elicit. It will reflect in everything. 8 hours will be reduced. So we'll test it out when we are doing the approval policies. We are going to do that. But I'm just giving you the overview. This is the report we will be using throughout our approval modules. Whenever we are doing a policy, This is how we will be testing it out whether our approval is working properly. We are building a policy which states that it needs to provide 50 hours of protein holiday per year. How we need to test it after configuring is we need to assign it to an employee and then a full detailed report for it. This is how we test it out. So this report you can see here taken, there's a taken for you example. That's good. This is the same for all. You can see for whatever category, this is how it will be. Even it will show you what the future dates. If we have applied, like mostly people in US, you know they will be applying vacation on pre-year, like most people. If they're going on, December means they'll apply it from before. On September, October itself, they'll be applying it. So even that data, you can get it out so that they can know after, when I complete this vacation, this is how much balance I will be having. This is about something like it's totally like the leave management. Leaves on move. Since Kronos, we call it as a close and more like. The reason is we are accruing it based on some condition. Like they differentiate leaves, and of course in the way that actually is something we have, like leaves is something we take on, like for them leaves is like a long leave or something. When we go for a inactive for 2-3 months, Kronos will call it as leave. This everything will be called as a time off, just the paid time offs. So in Kronos something you don't pay. This is like accrues means like a PTOs, paid time offs. So now, since we know the report, I'll just give a quick intro on the accruals. So reports, whatever you have when you get your time, just go ahead and run each report for a group of employees and let me know if you have any doubt on that. Like there'll be around 400 reports in this system itself. Just let me know. There'll be another report. If you want to just try it out, try this report, but I need Excel to go through this. So you can try this also. There'll be a person detailed report. This will give you the full detail what we saw. When we select a person, I mean we go to the People tab. He'll be having a number of details in that. So these details, everything will come as report on this. Again, we need Excel for this. This is applicable only in Excel. I cannot show you here, but this awesome Excel access, if they can give the install in Excel, you know system, it will be great. We can go through this. This will give you like how the actual detail on the item. This will give you all the details of the people, details. Each these, all things will come as column name and the employee number, details and everything. Each row for one will give you the person details. Even if I run it, I cannot open it. There is no Excel. And just to add them for the Excel access they could provide to us, we can go through for a few more reports later. For accruals, we are fine. We can go ahead with whatever we have. So now accrual is a small module. There are few items only, but each item we need to go through. These are more needed except this Baron cascade and Baron's group, which is something similar to the cascading policies and cascading. This, I will take it as last and I'll show you how these two are related. That's the reason I didn't give an overview when we took the policies. These are more like the same. I will go through. After that, we configure a basic policy, and after we test it and everything is fine. At last, we will see how this and this are interrelated and where we are using. Most companies doesn't use it, but certain companies which have some rules, like even if the employee is not using a particular balance, they need to carry it forward, something like that. In that case only, we will be using teaching. So here also we need to follow the same thing, bottom to upper push. We need to have a date, we need to have a date pattern, and this is optional. Then we need to go to probation period again, that is optional. Then limits, grants, then accrual round rule is not used anywhere. It's just optional one, accrual policies and accrual proteins. So here everything except this accrual code is optional, but all the policies will have either one grant or limits. And also date and date patterns mandatory. Like we will create accrual codes, and then from date patterns till grants we will create individually, and all these items we will map it together in accrual policies. Then that accrual policy we will map it to accrual. This is what we will be assigning to employee in his people editor. There will be a separate column called accruals. Accrual profile. The topmost one is what we will be assigning here. So today I will just take you through how we create the accrual codes and dates. Let me take you through the accrual codes. Accrual code is nothing. It is similar to pay codes what we create. So it is similar to the pay codes, but the difference is we are using it for the like application and seek for other purposes. You can see here, from here itself, we will be able to understand what accrual code means. It's just similar to the pay code. We are just creating it with the type, whether it's in hours or days, how we create pay codes, if you remember. We just need to choose a type, whether it's a date type, pay code. If it's a date type pay code means how many hours per day, or whether it's an hourly pay code. And what is the name for it, and is there any short form for it? That's it. That's it what we will have here. So now let's create. I have two papers already created here. This is created from my end only. I'll show you how I'm doing it. First, let me click on New. You just need to give like what I have done here. KPT vet. I have been creating a pay code for vacation, and I can give an abbreviation for that. Like vacation means VAC. We can understand this is a vacation. Whether this is an hourly pay code, days or money similar to what we have in our pay policies. Mostly we'll go with hours pay code. Sometimes if it is days means you need to depend how many hours for that particular day. If they are putting money in the time class, how many hours it should take. So we will stick with the standard on hours and whether we can. Once the employee takes a leave, this particular pay code will be populated in our system. So whether the system will allow the employees to do some, managers to do some. Manually click on this. Yes, it will allow. It's advisable to have it because a manager should be able to delete or edit it in some cases if needed. Reporting period, nothing to change. It should be default reporting period. I'll tell you when we test it out what is the reporting period. I'll go through it so now. Currently we no need to change anything. This is how we create a pay code, accrual code. So this is already created. I'll show you create it on. It will not allow override. These two pay codes we have created. You might have seen the report. This is what we are getting it. ABC and ABC vacation. So same thing, just the hours. Type what type of accrual, what time it is default reporting period. Again, vacation, also same thing. So first step, we have created vacation and seek any doubts in this. Creating accrual code. So that's the basic step. We are defining what type of leave it is. Then the second step is dates, which will be already available in the system. If you want something special, we can create. There are two different dates. One is site-wise dates, which will be first from each company. Each company will have different site. Wise date means a reference date, Jan 1st. And we have a reference date so that if you want to do something on each new year, we can use this date. We can use this as a reference date and make the system do it every year or every month also. We can use it. It will grant out each month. So it's just a reference date, first of the month, first a month. Also, they will be using something which starts at first of that a particular month. And if you want to grant something on April 1st of each year or April 1st in once in 2 years, you can use that just a reference date. You can see the example New Year or Christmas or year and something like that. So these comes under the site-wise dates. We choose a particular day in a year like September 15th, August 15th or Jan 1st or December 22nd. We can choose a particular date which will repeat yearly so that we use that particular date as a reference date and we can grant on future years or maybe twice or thrice in that particular year, or you can use that to grant each month using that reference date. If you choose 15th April as a reference date and choose monthly, it will grant 15th on each month. So this is just a reference date. Just remember January 1st. We are going to grant something on New Year. So we are giving a reference date of 1/1/2030. Any conclusions on this? What is the site? Wise dates? So then again we have person, specific dates. So since this is a test run environment, they have created n number of items, but usually we will be having 1, 2 or 3 person. Specific date is person. Specific dates means we need. Some companies will have a policy of granting based on their hire date. So even though, say example, I am having a policy where it will grant approvals each year on New Year, but what happens? But say the employee and some employees will be hired mostly on beta of the year. So for that first year from his hire date, he should be having some balances. We cannot choose a reference date for that. Whatever the date we choose, some employees will be hired in a different date. So for that we can have a reference date create. Mostly it will be accrual date of hire, something like this. And here we will have a reference date of hire date. If I delete all these things, only the item which will be left over is hire date, which will fetch the value directly from the employees, people, tab, and general information. This hire date will flow and this will change like it is different for each employee. System will do it automatically. We just need to create a date which is naming accrual date of hire and we need to choose hire date in that. That's it. Clear on this what is person, specific dates. So that is about the way codes, accrual codes and the dates, and the last item for today, we will just go to the date patterns. So date pattern is nothing. We have a reference date here, it's like Jan 1. We will create a pattern means like how frequent it should replicate. So we are going to give some balance to an employee. So whether it is yearly or monthly or 6 months once or 15 days once, that we will define it here in date patterns. Maybe I will show you. If I need to create a yearly, every year I am going to grant something to an employee. I will give a name that. So to my understanding, every year Jan 1. How this date should be. It should be granting it yearly basis. What I need to do this and which is first year, I need to pick my reference date January 1 because we saw there it's the point to Jan 1 which is yearly. We have seen that. Now I need to choose the frequency, whether it should repeat each day or whether it should repeat each week or month or based on pay period. We know pay period 2 weeks by weekly or some people have monthly. So whether it needs to repeat like pay period basis or yearly. If you want to repeat it yearly, choose this. Nothing to choose on the other options. The like offset, everything will be noun. Just you need to choose what frequency, what is the reference date and pattern, when the pattern should start. Start of reference date. It should exactly start on or off the reference date. The reference date is 1 month 2020, so the pattern will start on each year 1 month. If you choose like on or before means like it will choose maybe like 1 or 2 days before. If it is coming, it will. I'll explain you how this works. So let's start like first, stick to the same thing. If you choose a particular reference date, in that date itself it will start on or before. Or on or after is like maybe if an employee is hired on Jan 2. If you choose this on or after means it will help him to get that particular credit. Also for that purpose. So no need to confuse. Let's start with the symbol policy, which is we are having a Jan 1st and it will repeat yearly or monthly. Whatever you want you can choose and pattern started. It will start directly from the reference date. If you want to grant something like for the first year, I need to grant something on this data file because he will be hired on his data file. So I just give one time the data file. On one time data file, I am going to grant him something means in that I need to choose the reference date as hire date. Hire date and the frequency. It will give him only 1 year start of reference. That's it. Or each year on the data file, if he needs to get, we can choose year as one and we can replicate it. Or each month, we need to replicate it means we can give months. It depends on us. So there are only two reference date. One will be the specific date like Jan 1, Jan 15, December 1st, something like that, or higher date which we can iterate through days, weeks, months or years or even weeks. Clear on this? First year which he joined, maybe based on the higher date, will be allocating some like accruals to him, and the next year he will be getting the full quota like the first of them. Then how the system is going to be that will come under the limits and grants will go through. This is just creating the here. We will not restrict anything. We will just say how to iterate. That's it. Whether it needs to stop on the first cycle or whether it needs to stop after 3 cycles or whether it needs to go on. We will determine that based on grants and limits. So next session, I'll come up with a proper policy. This will be easy to understand. I'll come up with maybe sick vacation and some other holiday. We will create each of them. You are. If we have already have sick and vacation created, we can use that. We'll create some of those policy based on the requirements. Let's stop it. Thank you. Please do like, share, and subscribe to our channel. For more information, contact us sales@therightuptalk.com.